Okay, how you guys doing? It's J77, and this flashback review will be pretty much an ongoing series. It's going to be touching on all of the comic book movies I've saw throughout my lifetime, leading up to pretty much the comic book movies that's coming out right now. I figured it'd be best to talk about some of the comic books I saw in the 80s, 90s, and even today for that matter, and give my own feeling as well as my own likes and dislikes about these movies. As always, this is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, I'd like to hear your experiences on the movies that I will bring up, if you guys seen it, or if you guys have your own feel towards the film, whether you like it or didn't like it. I'm going to start off with the very first film I saw in theaters, a comic book film I saw in theaters, and that was Batman, the 1989 version starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. This film, needless to say, was way overhyped, with merchandise and posters and TV interviews, commercial spots, you name it, it was there. Batmania was pretty much in full swing, and everybody couldn't wait to see this movie. This movie pretty much beat out Ghostbusters after 1 week at being first place in the box office, which was not surprising, being that everybody was waiting to see this film. It was a biggest blockbuster hit at that time. And it's still considered by many to be one of the best Batmans, even over The Dark Knight. So there's very much a big debate over which movie was better. This film I actually attempted to see in the Duckfield Theater, but it was so crowded that the whole entire day was sold out. So I ended up going to the late movie theater district in 42nd Street, Times Square. And I say late because the movie district of New York is pretty much dead. There's no more major movie theaters in that area. It used to be a time where the movie theater district had not one, not two, but 3.5 blocks of theater after theater displaying nothing but movies. You just couldn't miss it. And there were a couple theaters that were playing Batman, and I picked the one that had the $5 2-for-1 matinee. So I got a good deal with that. I got two for the price of one. I did the same thing with Ghostbusters, and even with the Friday the 13th movie. We basically just paid one price, and we stood there the whole day just enjoying ourselves. When I finally saw it, I sat down. The movie begins. And my first initial feeling towards this film, not very good. This film disappointed me in some ways. And this was largely because it was very, very overhyped. And because of another reason I'm going to explain as this video goes on. But I find myself being very disappointed with this movie at first. When I saw it again, I started liking the movie more. When I saw it again, I started to really enjoy the film and appreciate what Tim Burton was trying to accomplish. But make no mistake about it, when I saw this film, it just wasn't. I just felt the hype didn't meet with the movie standards that I expected. And this was largely because I grew up with the Adam West movie. The Adam West movie and the Adam West TV series, for that matter, because it was on television, and I enjoyed the Adam West TV show as well as the movie. And as corny as some of the scenes may be, as ridiculously stupid as some of the films, some of the shows was, with their dialogue and their villains they face and their one-liners they keep throwing out there, it was still a fun show to watch. And I kind of expected almost the same thing. I don't know why, but I kind of expected the same thing from seeing this film. As a 12-year-old, I really was hoping they brought that back. And although I knew it was going to be kind of dark just by the way the commercials were, I still felt they was going to bring some of that campiness to the film. And to my surprise, this film, although I actually just make, even though I was 12 years old, I still was managed to get to see the film. It was very clear this was done for older audiences, and I wasn't scared of this movie, but it was very hard for me to comprehend what was going on. I was 12 years old when the film came out, and it was very hard for me to really grasp what's going on. After I saw it again as I got older, I got to understand the film more and more, and I got to appreciate the film more and more. Um, the acting, I'm gonna leave a little bit for last because there's something that I wanted to address and what disappointed me about this film the most. Because that was the main factor of me saying that the film was a little bit overhyped. But again, I will touch on that. I might as well talk on the story. The story pretty much is very simple. It tells the story of Batman. He's basically is making himself known to Gotham. He basically is a mystery to many of the police officers, including the criminals, which he personally is attacking. And basically sending messages to them and telling them that, hey, let them know who I am, and and basically said the iconic word, "I'm Batman," after holding one of the criminals on the edge of the ledge by saying that. We then introduced to Jack Napier, which is played by Jack Nicholson, who basically is not the Joker yet, but it slowly is reaching that path. And how he got that path was basically his boss setting him up because he was having an affair with his wife. He set him up by going into the chemical factory to retrieve something, only it wasn't there. The police get wind of this from a tip, which his boss had gave to them, and basically this tip was pretty simple: kill Jack Napier. Commissioner Gordon, however, had found out about it through some of his contacts, and he immediately intercepted the situation. He took control of the situation. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you see this scene, he was at a party which Bruce Wayne was holding, and he's pretty much quickly introduced, very quickly, very mildly, very, not so macho-y, which I was kind of surprised. He's just like a normal standout guy. He introduced himself to Vicky Vale, which is played by Kim Basinger, along with another guy which name escapes me. I do apologize for that. But he basically introduced himself. He basically talks to them, and pretty much Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne hit it off pretty well. Alfred comes in, tells him that something's going on, that the commissioner's leaving, and he say most unusually, which tell him he needs to get to the Batcave, which he does, and basically look at his cameras in the Batcave, realizing that something's going down and he needs to go, take care of business. Violence ensues. There's a shootout. Jack Napier's trying to escape. He's turning on all these gears, which for some reason I did not understand why he did it. Maybe he's just trying to, create distraction for himself. But that was an issue with me, why he was turning on all these gears where he just simply could have just found an exit and get the hell out of there. But obviously there's some reason I must be missing. I'm still missing today. If you guys know why he decided to turn on every mechanism in the whole entire factory, leave it in the comment section, because that was always the one that always escapes me, and it still escapes me to this day. But anyway, things heat up, things hit the fan. Batman is there. He's beating out some bad guys. The music's being played as this thing going on. And Jack Napier, who took his sights on Commissioner Gordon, was about to shoot Commissioner Gordon when Batman intercepts him. Unfortunately, Bob, who is probably the most popular character, which I can never understand, puts the gun through Commissioner Gordon's head and said, "I will shoot him," which led to Batman to releasing him and pretty much allowing Jack Napier to kill the crooked cop, which also was working for his boss, who was trying to set him up. He tries to shoot Batman, but he reflects the bullet, which hit the pipe with blowing the steam, which caused him to trip, and clinging to one of the bars before falling into a bag of acid. Batman tried to save him, but unfortunately it didn't work, and now Batman just pretty much picks off the rest of the Gotham City police. Thinking that Jack Napier is dead, people just basically fouled out, but Jack Napier resurfaced in the ocean. not the same person. He gets pretty much special cosmetic surgery in an abandoned alley with a illegal doctor profession, and he comes out as the Joker. And since then, the film completely changed. And I say that because this has become now not pretty much Batman, but the Joker movie. Because the Joker film, the Joker character is in this entire film almost all the time. He's in this more than Batman is. And that where I had a bit of a problem with. It's almost like Tim Burton put a lot more emphasis, too much emphasis on Jack Nicholson's character. And by the way, I thought Jack Nicholson's character was brilliantly played. For that time frame, he was the man. I'm not even going to dispute that. I love Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He was everything I expected him to be. He was fun, but very menacing, and it was basically very creepy at the time. And I can understand why people still debate to this day why they always say that Jack Nicholson is the true Joker and not Heath Ledger. I for one, can't really compare the two because they have all such different styles. To compare one to the other is kind of unfair, but I understand why people don't do it and why they always try to measure those two up. But to me, at that time, Jack Nicholson played that part well. But it was very clear that he was getting way too much to the point where Batman, in my opinion, was actually a co-star in his own movie. And I never thought that was a great thing. And especially since Michael Keaton portrayed, in my opinion, the best Batman I have seen in a long time. Even nothing against Christian Bale, but I felt that there was more of a flow with Michael Keaton playing a role. He seems more relaxed. He seems more natural, and he just fit the part well. And to see him be placed on such a limited screen time as the film came along kind of bothered me a lot throughout this film. It really did. I mean, I can tell you the most memorable scenes in the Batman scene, and it mostly involves Jack Nicholson's character. From the point where he came back and shot up his boss, when he came into the when his lover came in, and he said those iconic words, "Honey, you'd never believe what happened to me today," and she passed out. I was just cracking up to the point to he had the meeting with the boss and to the other mob bosses or the people who involved with his deceased boss, and one of them ended up being a hand buzzer barbecue where he got burned up to the point where he's actually talking to a charred skeleton, which was actually pretty much the only true scary scene in the whole film that really said, okay, now we're going a little bit too far on the PG-13 rating, but that was just my own thing about that. To the scene with the mines and to the scene where he's dancing with Prince music, messing around with all the paintings and stuff. Even to the iconic death scene where he's basically just toying with Batman before he heads onto the plane, and then Batman for the grappling hook, which grabbed on his leg, and the gargoyle statue just got torn right off this foundation, which led to Jack Nicholson falling to his death. There's a lot more memorable scenes with just that character. As for Michael Keaton's scenes, when he was there, it was good, but I can actually tell you that there's only a few scenes I actually thought were memorable, and all of them happens to be with the fact that he's walking around Gotham City. He went to the very same spot that his parents died. He put the flowers there. That's a very touching, powerful scene. Without him saying a word, just his facial expression says it all. From his confrontation with him and the Joker was also memorable, and just the fact that he's when he played Bruce Wayne, it felt like he was playing Bruce Wayne. It didn't feel like he was pretending to be Bruce Wayne. I felt like he was playing Bruce Wayne. The problem was that it wasn't enough of him there. Batman was probably seen 4 times in the film. He was seen in the beginning. He was seen during the factory shootout. He was seen rescuing Vicky Vale from the Joker in the museum, and he was seen in the final battle between him and the Joker with the bat plane all the way to climbing up to the church and fighting all these villains to get to the Joker. But other than that, I saw plenty of scenes where it was just the Joker. You might as well just call this film Joker and the Batman. That's basically what that film was. And I was very, very upset by that because I actually wanted to see more of the Batman, and I did not get that from when I was a kid. And it took me a while to accept the fact that maybe this is what Tim Burton wanted to do. Maybe he wanted to portray the Joker. And by the way, he did steal the show. I mean, everybody who's seen the film told me, yeah, this was more of a Joker movie than it was a Batman movie. But people liked Jack Nicholson in that role. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in that role. The film was even nominated for Best Picture, which actually was a surprise to me when I found out that it was indeed nominated for Best Picture. But it was mostly Jack Nicholson's show, and I felt that was kind of unfair that Tim Burton would do that. I thought that he could at least even it out to where you can have both, share some screen time. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and that did kind of bother me a lot when I saw the film. But like I said, after I got older, got a little wiser, got a little more knowledge of how film works, I kind of appreciate the film a lot more. A lot more than what I probably did when I was 12. Because keep in mind, when I was 12, I was actually expecting more of that same Tim Burton type, same Adam West type movie, and I was a little surprised that this was more geared for adults than it was for children. But that's how people were, and that's why people loved it so much. There was one scene I never quite understand. And it happened to do with a scene where you had this woman, because there was a scene where a reporter got killed because it was because the Joker plan was to poison Gotham with cosmetics, like makeup, hair products, mouthwash, and it leaves a chemical where they basically laughed themselves to death. And that was a very bizarre scene because they didn't know what to do with how to solve this problem, and Batman actually solved it by looking at Jack Napier's profile. There was a scene where people started laughing for almost no reason, and I'm sitting there watching this film, and I saw this countless times. I didn't really understand why people were just laughing at this reporter, and I was like, damn, people laughing. I don't understand why, because I went to a theater, and every time a face showed up, people just started cracking up, and I'm like, is there a joke I just missed? I mean, I didn't understand it, and I guess it's because she didn't have any makeup or something, and how she was talking, because every time she showed up on that screen, it was a small part, but it was a part that I always never got out of my head because they were just laughing. I'm staring there, and I guess there's something funny about it. Maybe I just missing the joke. But I just felt that it was kind of bizarre. They were laughing at her, and every time the other person come up, they wasn't really laughing. But every time she showed up on the screen, so I find it very weird. I didn't have a problem with the. I know a lot of people did have a problem with this because there was a lot of comic book fanboys who love to stick by the script. I didn't have a problem with the fact they connected Batman and the Joker the way they did, where the Joker killed Batman's parents. I thought it was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I've seen different coordination before. It was fine. I didn't care about it. The fight scene with him and the Joker was alright. I didn't have a problem with that either. I just think it was just a matter of me not seeing enough of Batman in that movie that really just rubbed me the wrong way. What I liked about the film, I liked the fact that Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton performances, I really thought they were spot on. I really liked the fact that they worked on each other when they were actually on screen together pretty well. I love the score that Danny Elfman have done. That score to me is the most memorable Batman score. Still this day, it still is the most memorable Batman score. Probably more than the score that they have for The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. I think the Danny Elfman score has a more memorable tune to it. It feels like you're watching a Batman movie, even from the beginning credits. I really did enjoy that score. I also like the fact that I liked the beautiful scenery, how they captured Gotham City, how it felt like Gotham City for a while. And for the most part, I thought the pacing was actually fine. It slowed down when it needed to slow down, but it picked up when it needed to pick up. And I had really no problem with the way the dialogue runs around, as well as the chemistry. I thought the actors worked it well with each other, including Kim Basinger. I know people didn't like how Kim Basinger was portrayed in this film, but to me, she was a typical damsel in distress. And she has some good strong parts. When she put her foot down to Bruce Wayne, she really did put her foot down. So I really did appreciate that she was able to do that. There were some times where she can be annoying with the screaming and stuff, but it was a typical Daniel Step movie for that role, and I really didn't have a problem with it. I can understand why everybody else did, but it was okay. But to me, she acted wonderfully fine. Now here's my beef with this film. With the things. One, there were some characters there to choices that I really felt that was not necessary. And that's one of Billy T. Williams. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first saw this, I didn't know he was playing Harvey Dent. I found out way later that he was actually supposed to betray Harvey Dent. And I'm like, really? That was supposed to be Harvey Dent? It could have fooled me. I just thought he was playing himself. I honestly thought so. When I first saw him on screen, I said, who is he really supposed to be playing? Not one time did it hit me that was Harvey Dent. Not one time. And they probably mentioned him probably a couple times. I probably just didn't been paying attention. But I wasn't thinking of Harvey Dent. I mean, the Batman animated series, that's Harvey Dent. The comic book version, that's Harvey Dent. When I saw Billy D. Williams, I saw Coke 45. That's just my opinion, all right? It works every time. That's who I saw. Ed Koch was in this movie, and that drove me off a little bit because I actually like Ed Koch. I grew up with him as my mayor of New York when he was here. That drove me a little bit off. Kind of odd that they have him there. I did not like Commissioner Gordon. I did not like that character, and no disrespect to the late actor. I know he passed away. I did not like that portrayal of Commissioner Gordon, and to me, that character gotten worse and worse as the film progressed. He was in Tim Burton's film and Jerry Schumacher film, and I think Jerry Schumacher film did him worse than Tim Burton was. At least he was presentable, but I really never really liked him. I never took him seriously as Commissioner Gordon. There was just something about him as Commissioner Gordon that rubbed me the wrong way every time I see him on screen. I said, that's not Commissioner Gordon. The guy from the Adam West version was a more Commissioner Gordon than he was, and his role was pretty much comical at times. But in this one, it really didn't feel like the Commissioner Gordon I really picture in my mind, and that always did bother me. But I guess the most problem with I had is just like I said, it felt more of a Joker movie than it was a Batman movie. I came here to see a little bit of both. I wanted to see Joker, but I also want to see Batman in more interesting roles, and I didn't really get that. And again, it took me some time to really get used to this film because I wasn't really all that crazy when I first saw it. But once I saw it probably for like the 12th time, I really gone to appreciate the film for what it was. And it is a great Batman film. It's a very, very good Batman film. And it's the first time throughout the movie history where comic book films were being converted into motion pictures that something was taken seriously. And that I got to give credit to Tim Burton. Tim Burton took a very complex character and he made it somewhat believable. He gave it a serious tone to it, which was not considered very well wise to a lot of filmmakers. For some reason, they don't think that that you can make a comic book character or a comic book movie seriously. And Tim Burton did that. He gave a Batman film that people actually came to enjoy. As for the other Batman film that he did, Batman Forever, I'll get to that in a later date. But for me, this was a 3.5-star film. I really did going to lump this film. And as for a kid, if you ask a lot of kids that they've seen this film, especially if they grew up watching the Adam West show, and that's very key, they probably didn't like this film too much. It's probably when they started growing older that they're actually going to appreciate this film a lot more. But keep in mind that this film wasn't really made when I saw it. It wasn't really made for me. It was made for an older audience. And seeing this film at the age of 12 wasn't probably not the best idea at the time. But keep in mind, I was seeing every film during that time. I saw a lot more films in 1989 than I did in any other year that I have seen films, because that was the only way I can actually stay out of trouble at the time. But Batman is a good film. I enjoyed it. It was great. I don't consider it perfect. I do consider the film a little bit overhyped. But for what it's worth, when it came out, yeah, this was the film that everybody have come to expect, and they enjoyed it. As for me, like I said, it just took me a little bit longer to appreciate it, but that's because I saw it at a very young age. So that's my feeling on this movie. What did you feel about the Batman film of 1989? Did you like it? Didn't like it? Did you agree with some of the stuff I said? Did you disagree? I'd like to hear what your feelings on this film. So, and just put in the comment section. I'd like to know what your thoughts on. Until then, it's J77 saying, take care.